Hello everyone. Alright, apologies for the wait. I had a brief mic issue with my software. Can everyone hear me? Alright, so, this is Secular Sekai with Tridents Against Tyrants. Thank you for tuning in today. And today is day 633 of Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. Got quite a few things to discuss today. And so yeah, thank you for tuning in for the first stream. So, let's see here. Jumping right into it, I'll just briefly talk about the channel a little bit. Most of what I would cover is already talked about in the last stream, but I'll go ahead and with Rick the Ukrainian. But I'll go ahead and do so here on the channel for anyone who might not be coming from Rick's channel. Basically, this community, Tridents Against Tyrants, is meant to be an initiative to assist the people of Ukraine and the armed forces of Ukraine. Many different YouTube channels are not just YouTube channels, just communities in general, on and off of YouTube, content creators, volunteers, people who are in and out of Ukraine, helping however they can. And yeah, with this channel, the goal is to fundraise pretty much anything that might be needed to assist the armed forces of Ukraine in the operations that they need to conduct, and in assisting Ukrainian civilians with humanitarian aid. So, I'm going to turn on two bars here. These are related to an active fundraiser that has been started. This is going to be a long-term fundraiser. If you can all see it, there should be two bars appearing on screen now. The top one is for 110 FPV drones for the 110th Mechanized Brigade, who operate in the area of Avdiivka, which, for anyone who is not aware, Avdiivka is one of two fronts in particular during this war that has been seeing very heavy, very intense fighting. So any help that they can get is greatly appreciated. The bottom one, still getting started, is for two anti-drone guns, which are basically tools that can be used to prevent enemy drones, reconnaissance, or active combat drones from getting too close to you and the rest of your unit. Basically, you can electronic warfare. Basically, you can just bring them out of the sky with it. All right, so let's move forward. You'll notice that. Okay, so you'll also notice possibly that there have been donations to both of these. However, they say 0%. This is something that is a technical issue with the software, or the way that these are configured on Monobank for donation streams. And I'm looking into it, troubleshooting it with my contact in Ukraine. Hopefully we'll have that fixed soon, but I have already tested it, and as donations come in, the actual numeric value does increase, so that should be working as expected. Now then, alright, so I'm going to turn this off, and okay, so I'm going to switch over now to this browser. Oh, actually, this browser. Interesting. Okay. So we're going to start here then with a quick video announcement. This is from a recent bit of news coverage from a channel related to Ukraine. So I'll only be going over a portion of it for fair use policy reasons. And let me remove these just so it's not overlaid on top.
Привіт, шановні українці, українки. Провів сьогодні ставку.
I wish you good health, dear Ukrainians. Today I held a Supreme Commander-in-Chief's staff meeting with a detailed report from the Minister of Defense on the upcoming year, the provision of defense forces, every direction and aspect, ammunition, weapons, equipment and accoutrements, what is currently in short supply and what objectively needs to be increased, taking into account plans of our active actions. The Minister of Strategic Industries reported on our own production of weapons.
Alright, and the YouTube channel that is shown on screen right now, this is UATV English, which if you haven't subscribed, I would say go check out their YouTube channel. Very good, up-to-date news regarding the situation on the ground in Ukraine. And so this is very good news, seeing active progression with partners, in this case particularly the United States, on joint arms production, both overseas and in Ukraine itself. This is definitely something that, if implemented correctly and efficiently, will be extremely beneficial long term. And let's continue a bit.
Weapons and ammunition. The goal of increasing production is being achieved. This is crucial, and I am grateful to all the workers in our defense industry, as well as our partners who assist. We also discussed the implementation of the Ukrainian missile program initiated in 2021. Everyone can see that its results are becoming more long-range and favorable for Ukraine each year.
Yeah, alright, and so let me continue here actually.
More results. By the way, we are actively progressing with the United States on joint arms production. During my visit to Washington, President Biden and I agreed on specific steps we can take together. This will undoubtedly strengthen both Americans and Ukrainians, as well as our partners. Joint production always enhances capabilities. In recent days, during negotiations involving Andriy Yermak and our government team, we discussed the specifics. In December of...
So, yeah, as I said, this is fantastic news to see this really moving forward. For anyone who has further interest in learning more specifically about joint arms production and increasing production both in and outside of Ukraine, because quite a few countries have become complacent on this matter in the past few decades, since there haven't been any world wars. Then a few good places that you could check out are, I've looked into freedom bonds, which are kind of an equivalent to war bonds for any of you who recall US history or actively have any similar modern day bonds active. Yeah, you know what? Let's move over and I can show a bit of that right quick. Because here we go. Here we go. My apologies. I was running into a brief issue with my software not wanting to pick up the particular window that it's supposed to be picking up, and now we're switching to it. So apologies for brief hiccup. There we go. All right. So here we have the Tridents Against Tyrants YouTube channel. However, odd. Oh, here we go. I need to organize this a bit better. Apologies. First stream. So in any case, here I've got my browser open. This will just make it much easier for me to navigate this. All right. Regarding that particular topic of freedom bonds, for anyone who has an interest in that particular topic, I'm not going to stay on it for too long, but this is an official initiative of the Ukrainian government, and similar to war bonds. If anyone has an interest, and rather than just donation, they would like to invest in the future of security in Europe, and therefore the world, because, I mean, security of Europe, North America, just about any continent as a whole is going to have profound implications on global security and peace, then definitely check out this website. You can find it pretty easily if you just search for Ukrainian freedom bonds or at vnesok.nssmc.gov.ua. Alright, moving on. Oh, and for anyone who has been messaging me in chat, my apologies. If I haven't responded to you yet, I'll be sure to get to doing so. I just am currently working on this myself. I do not have a moderator at the moment. Alright, now these are the actual jars for the fundraising initiative that's being done to assist soldiers of the 110th Mechanized Brigade. Here's the first monobank jar for the long-term channel fundraiser for 110 FPV drones. We currently have 19,405.79 hryvnia, of 2,200,000 being the ultimate goal. That should equate to about $60,700 US. Then over here we have the second fundraiser, which is for 2 anti-drone guns. Still at the very beginning, only 1,300 of a 230,000 hryvnia goal, which is about 6,300 US. So altogether about 67,000 for both. These do go to, both of these are for the 110th and will be immensely helpful. We did get a donation earlier, just before the stream started. I will not ever mention the names of donors specifically unless they ask me to when they make the donation, unless they leave a note or comment. But it was a $50 donation, and I just want to say thank you very much to that donor. It has been received, and it has been put into the monobank jar. So, thank you. Alright, now then, we'll come back to the fundraisers and discuss them a bit more in a bit. First, let's finish up a little bit more of this video, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So we'll go back to this.
This year, a special conference involving Ukrainian and American industries, government officials and other state actors will take place, everyone involved in organizing our defense. We are preparing a significant event, an extension of the Defense Industries Forum that took place in September. Now it's a forum in Washington and corresponding work on armaments in both Ukraine and the United States.
So the fact that, it makes sense that the discussions would be in Washington, that there would be discussions happening in Washington, D.C., of course. But, yes, there are, for anyone who possibly is concerned about American support long-term for Ukraine, I can definitely say this. I don't know what the future of full bipartisan support may be, because, of course, there has been some dissent among some members of both parties, more so one than the other, which I'm sure most of you who pay attention to American politics can infer which one. But this is something that is very deep-seated for many people. So I can definitely say with confidence that for decades from now on, there have been NGOs and humanitarian organizations assisting since before 2014, in what capacity they can. But as far as both grassroots support and, to varying degrees, political support for Ukraine, I do not see it disappearing anytime soon. And the more that we work to show that support, the better. All right. Now, the rest of this is a continuation of his speech, and again, just for fair use reasons, I don't want to play the whole thing without breaking it up with commentary, so we're going to come off of this now and move over. So, let's discuss a little bit about the situation on the front lines in Ukraine. To do so, I'm going to switch back over to my regular browser right quick. Alright, and we'll go ahead and just open YouTube. Now, this is not to be confused with UATV News or UATV English, but Ukraine News TV is another YouTuber here on the platform who does a very good job, like many others, covering the situation on the ground in Ukraine. So just to get a bit of an update on the front lines, I'm going to go over a little bit of the most recent update from yesterday, day 632. And hold on. I'm going to go ahead and let the ad play through without it being visible, just to be safe, because I'm very familiar with how strict YouTube can be. And we'll watch a bit of this, not the full thing, but yeah, we'll watch a bit of this to get some update.
Day 632 of the Ukrainian war map, also known as the Russo-Ukrainian War. Juzzy here, and today is another update as I take a simplified and down-to-earth approach to some of the most important happenings on the ground in Ukraine. So starting off, we'll take a look at those Russian losses, as currently Russia sits on more than 316,000 military personnel losses, which represents an additional 1,140 in the past day. Also, with about 200 more than that from the previous day. Then as for hardware losses in the past 24 hours, 11 APVs and an almost equally whopping 27 tanks and 29 artillery. And I'll show a few of those examples on the map shortly, but firstly we'll head across to Russia now as a massive ammunition depot.
Alright, so once again, just to pause here, 315,000 total personnel estimated by Ukrainian intelligence. Oh, and my apologies, actually 316,000. Looking here, yeah, this being the most up to date. Yeah, this is continuing to surge forward. We had seen a lull where it was well, not a lull. There's never a lull with something like this, but not really. But we had seen that it had gone down to just to be in the hundreds in terms of troops who were well, taken out of action one way or another. Yeah, casualties, whether fatalities or not, is what they should be estimating here. And we haven't seen numbers this high for a long time in most any global conflict. I mean, there have been casualties this high in some places, but not in terms of just troop casualties, because this, of course, is not counting civilians. So it is mind-boggling. As far as the significance of, because these are numbers on a screen, but as far as the significance of these compared to the total Russian war machine, of their entire war economy, now you'll notice here it's at about almost 5,500 tanks, 5,415. And I've noticed this going up at approximately anywhere between 10 to 25 per day, on average. So we're slowly seeing this get to a point where, prior to the war, the entire inventory of tanks in Ukraine was somewhere on the scale of, I think, 20,000, including old Soviet tanks in storage. And not all of those were really usable. Most analysts would probably agree. Excuse me. So, honestly, it's hard to say because of corruption, because of lack of maintenance. Some people say as high as 10,000 it could be completely untenable for Russia with their current production capability, because they're only currently producing maybe somewhere around 200, maybe 300 per year. So replacing tanks is not cheap and it's not easy. But regardless, just knowing that 20,000 is about the goal for tanks alone, right here already being more than 25% of the entire stock of the Russian military. These numbers can't be sustained forever. This war can't go on forever, whether the enemy would like it to or not.
Head across to Russia now, as a massive ammunition depot exploded in the Volgograd Oblast about 24 hours ago now. And Ukraine hasn't claimed credit for the attack, at least not yet, although some reports suggest it was a long-range drone attack. Now, these photos don't really do it justice, but it was said to be quite a sizable depot with multiple successive pop-offs throughout the night. Then we'll head back across into the Ukrainian map today, and we'll start out somewhere in between Bakhmut and Avdiivka. So, nuzzled right in there, near Shumi. The AFU entered the location, and I'll show you on the date map. As we can see, a expansion of AFU control. And this is actually quite significant.
All right. So, and this is definitely good to see. And with a lot of these videos where it is comparing things on the map, usually the deep state map, that it can, because of the nature of this conflict, it is a lot of small back and forth sometimes. But every bit of land liberated, every bit of progress is incredibly important. Now I'm just going to peek here and see. That's in the east, coverage of the south. From what I've seen, I'm sure he'll cover it here a bit, but from what I've heard here recently, the situation in the south in Kherson has been very interesting. Kind of a back and forth of will they, won't they, in terms of taking positions, taking back more of the south in the Kherson Oblast specifically. Ukraine has been working on crossing and successfully crossing the Dnieper River, the Dnipro, and because of the intense situation in Avdiivka and the surrounding area in the east, like you see here on the screen, more and more troops from the south on the enemy's side have been pulled away to the east. So, but of course that also applies for Ukrainians needing to have more defenders to hold Avdiivka. So there's been a lot of creative operations that I've seen in the south. Night raids, unexpected drone and even jet ski operations I've seen in the past few months. I recall a few soldiers went all the way down through near Crimea, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check that, but just to run through with the Ukrainian flag, which is definitely a morale boost if you can get that far down south and make it back in one piece. So, yeah, the situation continues to evolve.
Significant because this location right here, where the lines were drawn since 2000.
Oh, and Andreas, yes, and OCT and everyone, Bo is awesome. I do agree. I have been subscribed to Bo for quite a few years.
2014, with the Little Green Men invasion in the Donbass and Crimea. Then we moved down south to Avdiivka, as over the past week, Russian forces have continued attacks towards outlying villages of the contested town, where Russia is almost certainly attempting a pincer movement to encircle the town. And although this region is clearly the most contested spot on the map right now, Russia continues to throw armoured units into the north and south to make really no differences on the map in the past couple of days, even longer. And in some cases, well, you've heard of kamikaze drones, right? Well, this time Russia loaded an MTLB with 2 tons of TNT and sent it into the Ukrainian direction around Vodiana. But a Ukrainian drone saw the whole thing from planning to execution and proceeded to hit it with an FPV drone successfully.
There you go. And so, kind of bringing back to the fundraiser, this is a perfect example of what your money goes toward. Not just this, used for multiple different reasons, but this is a great example of what your money goes toward in the Avdiivka area with drones like these. They are very important with full-scale war production of artillery and other needed munitions, ammunition for artillery systems, currently still warming up, ramping back up in the United States and some parts of Europe and Ukraine itself. You have to get creative, and drones have definitely assisted in filling the gap when artillery is not as available as one may like.
But even if Ukraine didn't have an FPV drone ready on hand, they would easily have used, say, a shoulder-mounted anti-tank guided missile instead.
Oh, Mertzi, I see your comment here also. I'm going to address that right quick. Can we get the PayPal? Yes. So that should be, if I'm not mistaken, in the description for the video. And again, I do need to see about getting some mods, so I will reach out and have more mods available for the next time that I stream. Apologies. But let me go ahead and get that for you right now. Actually, quickest way will probably be just to do it right here, because I believe I actually have the video open here in the browser, and you'll notice it's all here in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and post these into the chat right quick for both the monobank and for the PayPal. So one moment while I go ahead and do that. And also, okay, so for anyone who maybe doesn't use PayPal very often, it currently, I just have it as the email for my contact, my friend who is assisting with this donation fundraiser for the 110th. He is in Ukraine. And you can find him in your PayPal app or online when you're logged in, just if you search for his email address. Now, I am going to speak with him to see if we can get a clickable link set up. Yeah, that may be coming. If not, you can still find him by searching his email address on PayPal. And it should be Anton Tkachenko. But beyond that, I also, I won't announce too much right now. There is also a Tridents Against Tyrants PayPal that I've been working on setting up, just a general donation platform. However, I'm still looking through the logistics of the best way to have everything set up. So when there is a further announcement on that beyond our current long-term fundraiser, you'll hear that from me here on the channel. Oh, and this is actually a perfect time to transition into the next thing I wanted to talk about regarding these fundraisers, which is for anyone watching, most anyone here, I imagine, probably already knows me from Rick's community, but anyone who doesn't or isn't familiar or is watching this later on, if you are someone who, well, let me back up. This channel is focusing on supporting Ukraine in the most efficient ways possible, and that includes grassroots movements to get what is needed to the front lines when it is needed, such as this fundraiser that we're doing for the drones and the anti-drone guns. However, for anyone who wants to go with a larger organization but wants to know that what they donate is going exactly where it needs to be in Ukraine, rather than worrying about bureaucracy or how everything is being dispersed by say an NGO like the Red Cross, just as an example. Not saying they don't do good work, they do, but if you want something that's more directly linked to Ukraine, this right here is the United 24 initiative of the President of Ukraine. This is the official fundraising platform of Ukraine, and there are multiple different options to donate here for different fundraisers, associated fundraisers that directly help both soldiers and civilians. So if you are someone who is more interested in humanitarian aid or assisting the Ukrainian economy right now and in the future after the war, they've got stuff for education and science, for rebuilding the country. If you are someone who, this war is happening right now, and you want to make sure that you are donating to an organization that many people vouch for, that is officially linked to the presidency of Ukraine, then they have plenty of options for donations related to defense, for aerial drones, for sea drones, for just about anything you can think of that soldiers might need. And they have raised, almost $500 million, almost 500 million, which is definitely not an amount to sneeze at. So basically all that to say, this is a good initiative. It's very large. It's not grassroots, of course, but it's one that I highly respect and trust. So even if you come away from this video and say, oh, I'm not 100% sure, I don't know if I want to donate to this monobank that I've never used, that's from Ukraine, or use PayPal, I will definitely say this website is very good. But also, what we're doing is also very important, and next thing that I'd like to do is show a few things related to the initiative that we're working on for the drones. If you tuned in for the last stream with Rick, then you may have already seen some of this. But I just want to share a few images for transparency and to show you all what your money is going toward if you donate via Monobank or PayPal. And again, if Monobank doesn't work for you, because sometimes it is very finicky for financial institutions outside of Ukraine, sometimes are wary of Ukrainian financial institutions, and there is a reason for that from before the war, then PayPal does work. But let me go ahead and pull this up.
Hello everybody, I am Milt.
Alright. Here we go. So, I saw him when I stepped out to check your links for PayPal. Monobank. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video right quick, and please let me know if you're able to hear it in chat. If not, then I'll have to make a quick shift with the well, first let me turn the display on. Alright, so I'm going to make a quick I'm going to play this, and let me know if you're able to hear it or not.
military volunteer Anton Tkachenko. Since the Hello everybody, I am military volunteer Anton Tkachenko. Since the first days of full-scale war in Ukraine, I have been supplying our soldiers with ammunition, drones, and medical supplies. Anti-drone guns and kamikaze drones are urgently needed for our soldiers of the 110th Brigade who are fighting in Avdiivka, now near Donetsk. There are very heavy battles going on now. We count on your support in our struggle. Together to victory. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. And I do see that you said you were able to hear it, Tane. So if everyone is able to hear it, then perfect. Okay, so this is my friend Anton, who is assisting. Well, we're both working together. Yeah, it really is a joint cooperation on this. And that is just a bit of his intro on this fundraiser initiative. So let me go ahead and get the rest of these open and ready for you. Apologies. I have multiple settings and I have to be careful because I usually only have 1 or 2 screens, but I've got 3 right now. I've got a mobile studio set up, and yeah, I just don't want things popping up that I don't want popping up on stream from my desktop as I'm opening up programs and stuff. And here we go. All right. And let's, hold on. This took me way to the end over here. They're not in the same order that I expected. Oh, but that's fine. They can go in this direction from, yeah, right to left. And yeah, all right. So here we have an image with several drones that were purchased in the most recent initiative. Sorry if you can hear my phone pinging just now. And so here's the drones from the last fundraising initiative that Anton was involved in, right before, yeah, right upon purchase. Here, and we do have permission to put these up. Here are a few soldiers who, from the last fundraiser, who were accepting various different drones. These ones do appear to be DJI Mavics, in particular. Those same drones lined up. I do appreciate the fact that this particular soldier has what appears to be a Batman, a box, I'm assuming for medical supplies, or for other important supplies used on the front lines with Batman symbol on it, which I hope that isn't a problem, either vocally or visually, to have on a stream. DC, this is all fair use and not at all affiliated with you. Gonna just say that right quick. Again, more soldiers accepting accepting a drone. Here we have Anton again with Mavic 3. Alright. 2 others. These ones appear to These quadcopters appear to be... I don't believe that these are Mavics. Yeah, these are not Mavics. So I guess these either might be custom made or from a different company. This also I have permission to display. And it is a medal that was awarded to Anton for his assistance regarding the contributions to Ukraine's ongoing defense of the country, assisting the armed forces, assisting now for this one in particular, I cannot read Ukrainian, but yes, if I'm not mistaken, this medal was awarded for his contributions with fundraising. Anton again. This right here we have Anton holding the Ukrainian flag, and here in the center, this is the emblem, the sigil, this is the symbol of the 110th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, with signatures from members of the 110th on the flag. So this is very nice. This is, I'll just say, Anton, you should be proud to have this, and you've been doing good work. And thank you, my friend. Here is, unfortunately, a rather sad image. We see a soldier here in Avdiivka showing that Ukrainian forces are still, of course, in the city. And we can see, just like a lot of towns have, the Avdiivka sign, and it's pretty badly damaged. Not certain exactly how this might have happened. I don't see obvious signs of an explosion or anything nearby in the grass or the concrete, the bricks that are laid, but obviously something happened. If I had to guess, either vandalism or perhaps a firefight. Either way, definitely sad to see that, but it is good to see the UAF continuing to defend the city very bravely. Here we have a few videos, and I'm gonna, hold on, back this up, and I'll turn this on, and how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've got 5. We'll go through all 5 of them because they're short. 5 videos showing drones in use from previous that were provided from previous fundraising initiatives. Big boom. All right. Yep. And as you can see from this, very effective. It is quite effective against tanks. Yep. There we go. if you hear any buzzing, it's just, that is part of the video. The actual rotors on the drones themselves. Yeah, regarding viewership, this channel is brand new. Oh wow, we already been going for almost an hour? Oh yeah, it's 50 minutes. This channel is new, so it will take time to grow. Which is also part of the reason why I am in contact with a few other content creators and other supporters, general supporters of Ukraine, to try to get the word out about the fundraisers themselves, just in order to, because it is urgent for the Avdiivka direction to attempt to get the gap filled as quick as possible until this channel, well, even if this channel, as this channel does continue to grow, that's just kind of the point in general, to unify everyone, to get everyone working together. Because standing with a unified front against the monstrous federation, you know exactly which one, Orkland, yeah, it's absolutely crucial long term. I think this is the last one. Yes. Alright. Here, once again, we have Anton with the flag in the background and a few more drones. Anton again with the same drones laid out in a different pattern. And I believe, is that, oh, here we go. And then last two images, so, yep. And this is probably actually my favorite image to see. Very nicely set up. And so, yeah. I do also see, and I did get confirmation about the donation. Again, thank you very much. I saw that you announced it in chat, Tone. So, thank you. And, alright. So, that was really to just share images for anyone who haven't seen them yet, to know what this initiative is all about. I don't have any images of anti-drone guns from previous fundraisers yet, so I'll see if there are a few available that I can get for future streams. But yeah, at the end of this stream, which I will not be going for 3 or 4 hours, I'll probably be going for another half hour to an hour. I actually did have an appointment with someone, but which it has been such a crazy week. I'm sure many of you can relate between work and preparing things for this stream and several of my other contacts in various other countries I've been helping. It's been quite a bit. So let me move this back over. And alright, let's see, what do I have next? For everyone who sticks around at the end of this stream, I will be making a donation to the fundraiser, and I'm going to be making enough that we can officially have enough for the first drone, is my goal. So if anyone would care to join me, absolutely feel free to. Anton will let me know as he gets the donations. Let's see here. Let's return right quick. Let's return back to the Ukraine News TV update. Just go over news a little bit more. News from the front lines specifically, I mean. Alright, full screen. Alright, there we go.
But overall, these are just embarrassing actions by the Russian army, as frontliners are resorting to slow-moving vehicles loaded with TNT, moving it relatively aimlessly, more or less into the direction of the AFU, with the AFU of which will simply pick it off before it gets anywhere near them. Now, Russia also did this unsuccessfully a few months back as well with a T-55 tank, which means I'm guessing Russia is dealing with some very poor vehicle mechanics, but with vehicles that are in good enough condition to drive straight forward, stuffed with TNT. What a joke. And if you...
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of... We've seen a lot of crude tactics from the Russian side. A lot of things like manually, getting explosives into position. Of course, mass meat wave tactics, which are not taking the lives of their own servicemen into account at all, really. I would also say artillery, but with artillery, they don't have as much precision, per se, as Ukrainian armed forces do, because they've been getting Western systems that are a bit better for that. But, of course, everyone's aware that on the enemy's side, it really is just indiscriminate. Precision is not really something they care about all that often. So, yeah. But, of course, the big problem is just the fact that numbers, there are so many. So, being able to precisely target and take out logistics hubs, being able to use FPV drones, for example, both for reconnaissance and for engaging a target when artillery is not immediately available in certain situations, definitely helpful. Oh, also, two things before I continue. One, I did already show it, but just to reiterate, this is Ukraine News TV. Very good channel. If you aren't subscribed, definitely go check them out. Juzzy does a very good job with his videos.
If you're super interested to see that video that might be considered a bit too spicy for this platform, you can go ahead and...
Well, two things. One, let me back this up. One, aside from showing the channel, just want to say thank you very much to everyone who has... Okay. Let me back this up and word it correctly. Okay. I see a few different messages about donations in chat, so I'm going to address those right quick. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mertzi. I do see your message. Thank you very much. And since it's announced in the chat, I'm gonna assume that it's okay for me to say so out loud. Thank you very much. Your donation is immensely appreciated.
stuffed with TNT. What a joke. And if you're super interested to see that video that might be considered a bit too spicy for this platform, you can go ahead and check it out on my Patreon. But never join just for a single video. Instead, do it if you're just willing to support me ongoing. Then, also in this region, Russians have picked up a new tool of the trade on the front lines. Getting naked. Yep, that's right. As some Russian invaders are surrendering by way of throwing away their weapons and military garbs to make it clear that they are not at all a threat.
Wow. Yeah. Don't know how to respond to that right now. Let's continue a little bit more.
So, interestingly, a naked Russian equals a smart Russian. I should probably have left that one for the funnies section. Then, moving on. Now, and I promised you I'd show you some more imagery from the daily loss update. Quite a bit, so I won't go through all of them, but starting off, here we have a completely obliterated Mr. S self-propelled howitzer, as something Ukrainian made a visit to this one. Then also in the region is a Russian tank trying to break through, but presumably ran over an anti-tank mine. In this instance, a perfect trap. But Russian generals don't care, they send more attack waves, which is a nightmare for every Russian soldier.
Yeah. Again, can't reiterate enough how if I were a person who was forced into this situation from that particular country, how pissed off I would be. I mean, just imagine the 90s with the fall of the Soviet Union and then the Chechen Wars. How many people were disillusioned, fell into organized crime, were just angry at the state, the brand new one, mind you, of the Federation. We're absolutely going to see that again when all this is over. I mean, if you think corruption, organized crime, all of that is a problem right now or historically in Russia, I imagine it will probably get worse in the next decade or two to come. No, don't know for certain, but that's just a hunch.
Then also in and around the region, Ukrainian drone scouts have been locating some Russian dugouts near Avdiivka and tidying those up as well with drone dropped munitions. Also, the AFU drone patrol found this abandoned logistics truck packed with lots of goodies, as you can see there, and also with logs for the trench dugouts. But the drone proceeded to make real easy work of this one as well. But hey, not all was lost, as the AFU got a BTRD, Armoured Personnel Carrier Vehicle, so a trophy somewhere on the front. Then we'll head across to Kherson, so this is where...
Here we go. Alright, and now we're moving to Kherson. And this... yeah, things happening here have been quite interesting in the last week or so.
Ukrainian troops are attempting to push Russian troops about 3 to 8 kilometers from the Dnipro River, all along the south bank of Kherson. Now, that might sound quite specific, but it's actually exactly what the Speaker of the Southern Operation Command of Ukraine said in the last day. And so 3 to 8 kilometers is in fact precisely within the range of where the highway running parallel to the river on the south is at various points. So it's likely that Ukrainian Southern Command is looking to push Russian forces all the way back to the highway, in other words.
That definitely would be significant if not only to the highway but beyond it, if it becomes untenable for use by enemy forces. Yeah, being able to consistently and successfully harass transit of supplies, basically just logistics lines in general. Yeah, that'll definitely create a situation that puts them on their toes and makes it a bit more difficult to determine who should be going to the east and who should be staying in the south. So hopefully we will see a big push to take that highway.
Then, speaking of incidents at the highway, Russian soldiers themselves put on display the loss of a BM-27 Uragan. Then also, Russians share how Ukrainians struck their equipment on the occupied left bank, so this is really the south bank of the Dnipro River. Also in this region, a 1960s era Russian D-30 122mm towed artillery piece was left and destroyed on the south bank there as well. Then also, a Ukrainian FPV drone flew into a poorly hidden Russian tank near to Krinky. Then also on top of that, believed to be in this region as well, a Russian Borisoglepsk 2 electronic warfare system was destroyed, of which the whole 5+ multi-vehicle complex setup is collectively worth about $200 million. And
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's very significant. And that's also another thing to keep in mind. It's not just tanks or APV, armored personnel vehicles. There's a lot of specialty equipment that the Russian armed forces have been utilizing from their own inventory for quite a while in Ukraine, and they are not cheap at all. And some of them are not easy to replace. So definitely great to hear about that. Now, I'm not going to play all of this just because, I don't want to just be utilizing all of Jesse's content here, replaying it, so to speak. But I did want to cover this to just take a look at what's happening on the front lines and, of course, provide full credit to him and his channel. So again, if you aren't already, please go ahead and go subscribe. And that is Ukraine News TV. In fact, I'm subscribed on my other channel, but not here. So I'm gonna do that right now. Much appreciation for the work that you guys do. Ukraine News TV. Now let me switch away from this. And all right, we've already been going for more than an hour, so I'm going to take a second to. Yeah, we'll just pull up the color screen and this. Let's do a few questions. Let's see if anyone has any questions. Feel free to ask them in chat. In fact, I'm going to check the chat right quick. But if anyone has anything they want to ask, feel free to do so. Oh, here we go. Do I think that Putin will hit the full-scale war announcement when he has renewed his presidency? That is a very good question, and I think it's one that is fluid. It's one that I don't think that Putin has decided that yet. And I think a big part of what will determine whether he decides to do a partial mobilization, announce a full mobilization, probably won't be backing down, just because that's not part of the mindset for someone like Putin. But whether he fully scales up a lot more or continues to engage but quietly scales down a little bit, it'll depend on things like the results of the U.S. presidential election. There are other countries where their politics also have an effect and are being watched, I'm certain. For example, situations in certain European countries, such as Germany. Germany's a big one. France, which you could probably count on France continuing to show support in certain manners. For Ukraine specifically, I'll need to look into the most recent interactions between the two governments, but I know for a fact that Russia is not very happy with France right now for their assistance to Armenia, because Armenia has been, for anyone unaware, also in a pretty tight spot with risk of invasion from neighbors. And traditionally, they've been allied to Russia, mostly because they didn't have a choice. Otherwise, they would absolutely be invaded by Russia or any of their other neighbors. Anyway, I won't go too deep into that, but that's got its own complex web of geopolitical chess going on. And then smaller nations, too, that have traditionally been, upcoming economies and military powers like Poland. Thankfully, the Polish election results were favorable to Ukraine, so that was good. And then other EU countries and NATO countries like, for example, Bulgaria and Slovakia. Slovakia recently had a prime minister elected who's not very pro-Ukraine. Bulgaria's had a lot of pro-Russian people trying to push for less support to Ukraine, but thankfully they have not been successful. Long story short, we shall see. I think the most likely outcome is another partial mobilization, only because although the Russian leadership does count on the fact that Russians will put up with a lot of shit, I don't think they want to test ending up with opposition to the war domestically that rivals or exceeds U.S. opposition to the Vietnam War, for example. Because that, combined with all the other problems they've got on the battlefield and in the economy, could be highly detrimental. Alright. Let's see. Oh, one more thing. Okay, so I did notice this, that a few people have been messaging me in chat using @secularsekai. So, and I guess this is an issue with branding because I already am known by that username, but I'm not using that channel for the support that I'm giving to Ukraine. Definitely @Tridents Against Tyrants if you want to get my attention, only because I'm only really on one channel at a time, so I won't easily see a message to Secular Sekai. You could still mention the name Secular Sekai, but when you're doing the @comment, so I'm able to see it in the chat section, definitely make sure it's for Tridents Against Tyrants, and I will see that. Alright. Oh, and also, Aussie T. I am going to give a shout out right now because I see that you mentioned that you also donated on PayPal. 30 Australian dollars, so thank you very much. Alright, let's see. Greg Watkins, yes, I do also see. Really, even with United 24, actually that doesn't surprise me because, as I said, United 24, if you're looking for something that is 100%, I mean, trusted by many people, including high-income individuals and organizations, like Mark Hamill, for example, who is very pro-Ukraine, for anyone who isn't aware. If you're a Star Wars fan, there's a nice factoid for you. I hope it makes you happy. But yeah, really it's just the fact that they come from Ukraine, and a big part of that, sometimes you may even find financial institutions that don't want to have that kind of red tape or give warnings to people when they're trying to donate, or make it give you extra hoops you have to jump through. Part of it, yeah, I think really just comes down to the fact that Ukraine is a nation that many people do, invest in and do business with, but it's not an EU country. It's not part of that economy yet. And though it's very different now to how it was 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, Ukraine did have a reputation for some pretty bad practices financially in terms of corruption, a lot of which has been cleaned up very successfully. So yeah, that would be for anyone when it comes to Monobank, United 24, pretty much any financial platform that is based inside of Ukraine. Just be aware of that fact and know that if you look it up, if you do your homework, and if you trust the Ukrainian government, or at the very least, if you trust elements of the Ukrainian government who you can see are, they're patriots. They're not toxic nationalists. They're not, horrible like the Russian propaganda tries to convince people, and has been trying to for a long time now, then yeah, if you find a trustworthy payment platform in Ukraine that is backed by the Ukrainian government especially, then yeah, you can trust it. You know what? Real fast. Let me see. Well, actually, we're going to come back to something, and then I'm going to close up this stream. Well, I could probably keep going for a bit longer. I may go for up to 2 hours, because my other appointment is not responding. So, also let me go ahead and post these into chat one more time, the fundraiser information. Yes. Yep, and that's true. That's another thing. Actually, I'm going to do a poll about this, but Saturdays and Sundays are the most common and most popular days for these streams to occur. For many people on YouTube especially who do fundraisers to assist Ukraine. So what do you all think? I was originally thinking Fridays, but the time I would have to do it on Fridays would probably make it so that on one hemisphere or the other, in the Americas or in Europe and Asia, in the whole Eurasian area, the time wouldn't be ideal for both at the same time. So I'm thinking Saturdays, where it's morning time for Canadians and Americans and Mexicans and the rest of North and South America would be good. And then it would be like not too late, but it would be afternoon in Ukraine and other parts of Europe. So let's see, 6:20 p.m. Yeah, actually, now that I say it out loud, I probably will be doing it on Saturdays just because that will be the best time. So I'm gonna have to really investigate all of the other channels who are doing their streams and try not to overlap with them. But anyway, I'll come back to that. And finally, here's the PayPal link. Oh, no, my apologies. I just posted the PayPal link. So here's the link for United 24. And actually, yeah, let's do this real fast. I know I'd already covered this right quick, but I'll go over it one more time right quick, just because I wanted to show, if you're someone who, if you're someone who happens to have an interest in sports, or if you are a fan of Star Wars, if you're familiar with Catherine Winnick, they have an ambassador program. So, yeah, this is kind of neat to see. Imagine Dragons, Demna, Mikhail Hazanovikas, Richard Branson. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's very impressive. Bear Grylls. If anyone is if anyone has ever seen Bear Grylls with his survival content. Football players for Americans, I guess that would be soccer. Misha Collins, wow, if anyone's a fan of Supernatural, Scott Kelly the astronaut, wow, Barbara Streisand, okay, Brad Paisley, Timothy Snyder. Let's see. Yeah. And yeah, of course, I'm not going to read every single name, but there are quite a few here. So, yeah, if even this website with this much official backing from governments and private individuals who are in positions such as this, if your bank's having trouble with it, then just know there are other ways. I mean, there are ways to donate through PayPal, I'm pretty sure, directly. There's plenty of ways to assist Ukraine, whether it's with a large collection effort like this or with one like ours. And yes. Okay, so alright, let's see. Are there any questions? Oh, the browser screen is cut off on the right. Is it? Oh. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I think I see what happened there. Damn. Okay, hold up. Okay. Well, that's annoying. Let's fix that. How did that get shifted? Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. Oh, wow. I missed that. Mo said it was on the list. Well, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing, Tone. But yeah, no, exactly. I mean, astronauts, Nobel Prize winners, high-income individuals, regardless of income, well-known activists and human rights defenders. The list goes on. And, you know, again, that support's not going to dry up anytime soon. Government support is absolutely crucial, but grassroots support and support from individuals with societal weight, it all coalesces, it all comes together. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I just saw the tip that you gave me and fit to screen. I'll have to come back to that later. But yeah, it's not fitting entirely. I know you're going to see two little black bars on top and bottom, but I mean, the entire screen is visible. I'm just going to have a little bit of a border, so I'll look into that for next time, but it doesn't look bad, I don't think. But yeah, thank you very much, Taz. Alright, so I don't see any other questions at the moment. So for the time being, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up for the donation that I'm going to be making. While I do that, okay, let me see about the logistics for this. Okay, here's how I'll do it. Let me go over here, and this will be to the FPV drone donation fund. And okay, perfect. I do see some has been applied here recently. Not sure if that was a direct donation or if that might have been transferred from PayPal. Any donations made by PayPal, the way that I'm going about doing it is I'll post updates in the community tab with important information scrubbed just for privacy purposes for all donors. That way everyone can see, oh, it was sent to PayPal, and then from PayPal it went to the monobank jar, and then here's the monobank jar with its new updated amount. All right, so let's see here. Alright, while I'm setting this up so it's not just a blank screen for you guys, let me... well, actually, no. I mean, I'll leave it here on the jar for a second, because when this is done... If it goes through directly through Monobank, then I want to show it here on the screen. So let me see. Okay. Let's see. Watch. Oh, shoot. Yep. Alright. Let's give this a shot. Okay, well, unfortunately, Monobank is acting up for me, and that is one thing that I am fixing on my end, because, again, the easiest way to do it with Monobank is having a Ukrainian bank account, It did allow me to make a small donation, and of course that is why we have the PayPal. So I'm going to make the donation on PayPal, and when the amount is updated, as you can see, it went from 20,125 to 20,225. I will go ahead and post that in the community tab, but I will be making a donation right now of $300. If anyone would care to join me, feel free. No pressure. Just I feel this is important, and once purchases are made for the first drone, and any subsequent equipment, any subsequent drones, then we will be posting images up on the community tab for the channel. And 2.5 hours, the Shills and Starsky. Probably, honestly. I mean, especially if I don't end up speaking with my contact for my next appointment. Let's see here. 3 p.m. Florida time. Hold on, 3 p.m. Florida time. Yeah, I could probably make that. I see both of you asking me that. Greg and Aussie T. So yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll. Now I'm wondering if I should attend using as Tridents Against Tyrants or as Secular Sekai, because Secular Sekai is more just a personal username. But of course, since I got started with everything using that, that's how everybody knows me. Yeah, it'll be one or the other. You'll either see Tridents Against Tyrants or you'll see Secular Sekai in that stream. Thank you for welcome Suzanne and Annie. Yep. Yeah, Annie Uki. I always like it when I see your username, Uki Chick. But yeah, welcome Annie, welcome Suzanne. Welcome everybody who's joining us right now. Alright, so let me do this. This will be a lot faster and easier. So let me do this, and then we'll move on. In fact, let's move away from this right quick and pull something else up. For now, we'll pull up the deep state map, and we'll pull this up so we've just got something visual to look at while I'm getting this done. One thing I'm also considering doing is making individual video, either streams or individual videos, to talk about not just the front line, but all of these larger, broader, kind of Cold War areas, like Transnistria, Kaliningrad, Abkhazia, South Ossetia, Chechnya, definitely Chechnya. Honestly, you could, depending on the group you're talking about, you could even probably count portions of Siberia, but yeah. Anyway, let me get this done, and here you can have a good visual look at the current situation on the front lines. Alright, and officially done. So, I guess we'll just make a note of that right now. Well, it'll be in addition to the rest of the donations that have been made via PayPal today, but this going from 20,000 to 25, at a minimum, it'll be going up by around 12,000, but more than that, because we've gotten a few other donations during the stream. So, yeah. When I post the community tab update, let me do that right now, actually. I'm going to make a screenshot of the current balance, and I will post that side by side with the updated balance and other transparency information. Came dressed for the occasion. So, I'm trying to see... Hey, the Trident. Yep. Actually, that is one thing I really do like, the fact that the Trident is already built in as an emoji. So, yeah. Yeah. I guess we're all Tridents here. And we are all against tyrants, I'm certain. So, yeah. Keep up the good work, everyone. Just by being here, you're definitely helping. So, I greatly appreciate it. Alright, so we got a few more minutes. I guess, let's see. If anyone has any specific requests for me to go over anything, let me know. Otherwise, I may zoom in and take a closer look right now at the deep state map. Because I've kind of gone through a bit of each part of what I plan to for the stream. So, let's see. Let's take a look right quick, specifically at the Avdiivka area. And let's make sure, checking to make sure that it appears large enough on the screen. Shoot. Is that visible to you guys? Or relatively readable? Alright, well, let's see. Yeah, there we go. From what I can see, that looks pretty good. Okay, so here we've got the 55th Mountain Motor Rifle Brigade of the enemy's forces, 87th Rifle Regiment. Let's see. What events do we have? Aside from units in the area of Avdiivka, let's see what events might be posted here. Krakow. Well, I guess we just mostly have these arrows, and we see the direction that attacks are coming from. Occasionally you will also see actual events that are happening as they occur on the ground. So let's see here. Oh yeah. There we've got an airfield. Alright. Well, to begin with, let's do this then. going back to Avdiivka, let's roll updated today. History description. Let's see if we can't roll this back a bit. There we go. Alright, so let's see what the last week has held. Oh. Oh. Alright, so here we are on the 10th. The 11th. 12th. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. And yeah, unfortunately, we are seeing slow encroachment on Avdiivka from enemy forces. And this is very slow, but yeah, it is something that we've been seeing, which again is a big part of why this initiative has been started in the first place. From what I can see here, aside from these larger pushes in the green, taking areas back, we've got Sivern and Tonenke here, relatively small settlements. Slightly larger, not too far away, is Lastochkine. And looks like we're seeing attempts to slowly get to these settlements and, of course, connect these two areas to surround and cut off Avdiivka. Luckily, that has not occurred. At this speed, yeah, it's going to take a long time. I mean, if you think Bakhmut was... if you think that Bakhmut was one hell of a fight just for that symbolic Pyrrhic victory. I mean, Avdiivka, I've said this before, Avdiivka does have strategic value. It's not just symbolic. But now, in addition to strategic value, it is also symbolic. So you're not going to see the Ukrainian armed forces go from this area without a long fight. They've been holding this area for years now, since before the invasion in 2022. And it's never fallen. Didn't fall back at the beginning, way back in 2014, 2016, 2018. Didn't fall during the full-scale invasion, and it still hasn't fallen now. So, yeah, everything that we do to make the Russian effort in this area as painful and impossible as we can, the better. And eventually that'll pull more forces from the south, creating an opening for a breakthrough. Or the other way around. We'll see more incremental progress in the south, which will force Russian politicians and generals to decide, okay, so do we try to take Avdiivka as a political, victory for election season, for whatever that's worth back home? Or do we try to, shore things up in the south and leave everything as a stalemate? And I have confidence that the AFU will make strategic choices in order to prevent any further major loss of territory, and to really make it impossible for the Russians to prevent some kind of gain that can be publicly acknowledged on the Ukrainian side. And yes, I see your comment. It is a very concerning situation. If anyone has seen, I can't show them on YouTube because, yeah, that'll probably get this channel banned. But yeah, if anyone has seen some of the videos, it's heartbreaking. That being said, AFU are still they're still fighting. They're holding up a really good defense, and I do not see Avdiivka falling anytime soon. But yeah, our support is a big part of what makes the reality on the ground exactly that, a reality. So don't let up on the support, everybody. Yeah, precisely, Suzanne. There are many plans within plans, and flexible dynamic options. It's definitely not rigid. When it comes to dynamic and flexible tactics, adaptability, a combination of both long-term planning and adaptability, in terms of both tactics and strategy, I would say most so with strategy, but also with tactics. Ukraine absolutely is leaps and bounds beyond most of the Russian army in that category. All right. So let's see here. What else? Over here, near Robotne, we do see... yeah, we are seeing progress over here. So this is very good to note. A few days back, more of this turning blue, which hopefully will be completely green soon. And... while Avdiivka, that is another very important thing to note. Everyone for a while was discussing Tokmak and this front, and breaking the land bridge. Then it's gone back to Avdiivka, as the defense of that area has become quite crucial to emphasize. And now we also have focus on what's happening over at the Dnipro, the river crossing, slowly making raids and making progress toward getting more of this in Kherson. So there's really 3 fronts to be looking at, and where things are really happening, and it will take some time to get to Tokmak currently at this speed, but really you don't even have to get all the way to Tokmak. Getting to and taking Tokmak would be great, but getting even to probably Czerwonohirka or to Sadove, either one of those, or the general area, that provides plenty of opportunities to fire on any trucks or tanks that are crossing here on this highway, at enemy positions here in Tokmak itself. Being able to harass that area is a big part of being able to get forces to leave other areas. Hopefully in this coming year we'll see more progress, and we'll see that hopefully at least halfway to Tokmak we'll see that occur, because once you get close enough to really be harassing forces on this road and in the city itself, so they are forced to clear out. It brings you one big step closer to Melitopol, and if you get to Melitopol, there still might be more to retake if more defensive lines are located behind this for some reason, but at that point you've effectively cut the land bridge. So the progress is slow, but it is there. All right. Now, it's almost been 2 hours. I am going to go ahead and just stick with this for another 10 minutes to round this out. And then I'm going to go ahead and sign out, or sign off. Let's see here. Plans. Yep, mobility in many variations, never static, precisely. One thing about Russian tactics and strategy that really hammers in, it hammers into what historically all of the entity that's known as Russia, whether it be as the Empire or the Soviet Union or the Federation, has kind of relied on, and honestly, maybe relied on too much, is the fact that it's such a large land area, large population, so many people that they just mobilize and throw at any military problem they have, without having to be strategic and really think about how they would approach attacking an enemy. Because with the exception of a few countries, there's no one else who would have the kind of numbers that they do. Ukraine is through all of this, has definitely learned it's not asymmetric warfare completely, because it's obviously they're getting plenty of support from the West, and it's one nation state versus another nation state. Ukraine defending its sovereignty and right to exist, and exist as a full and prosperous nation with its own identity. But so it's not fully asymmetric. I remember when everything first started in 2022, people were saying, "Oh well, we'll help the Ukrainians. It'll be like they'll be great insurgent forces, like pick any other asymmetric war in history." It's not that, but they are having to be strategic about the resources they do have. And this is a very good example. This entire horrible conflict is a good example of how larger countries that kind of instill this idea in citizens: we're huge, we've got lots of weapons, we've got an incredible budget, we can do pretty much anything, no one can stand against us. That's really not always the case. There are plenty of ways for smaller countries to mount a defense and do it so effectively that if the other side wins, it's completely Pyrrhic, and the cost is monumental to that society as a whole long term. Could even destabilize it decades down the road. And at that point, if a war destabilizes you to the point of balkanization in 20 years, 30 years, 50, whatever it might be, was it really a victory? Because you lost in the long term. Your society did. It's a great example of how, even if from the beginning or from the outset things don't look possible, there's always a way to make sure that you come out victorious. It just, in one way or another, depending upon the definition of the goal for victory. By the way, I see your message. By the way, I always wanted to see Moskva. They say it's a sight to see. Can any of you lend me scuba gear? Yeah. Well, it's not underwater right now, but yeah. I hear what you're saying. All right. So, hold on. When do you plan on live stream? When do I plan on live streaming again? I'm planning to do this on a weekly basis. So I will definitely be doing this either Fridays or Saturdays. I'm leaning more towards Saturdays. I just need to make sure it's at a time that's ideally before any of the larger streamers who also cover content related to Ukraine. So I need to kind of take a look and see. I think most do it in a few hours later than I've been doing it now. unless there's someone else who's streaming right this second that I'm unaware of, which is very possible. Yeah, so basically, it'll probably be around this time. Probably be Saturdays, morning time for North and South Americans, and afternoon, yeah, around the afternoon or early evening time for Europeans. I can always say this is a new program. They will want to link to it. That's what Georgia says, trust, and I do. I'm not sure which particular streamer or channel might have been referred to when you said that, Greg, in chat, but yes, I am reaching out to other content creators, other channels, and I think having more streams and more videos up will also help, because then they can get an idea of what it is that I'm doing and how I'm going about doing it. But yeah, you know, you got to build up a bit of a you have to build up a bit of a presence, and that, you know, trust goes in multiple ways. It goes between a channel and viewers, and viewers, subscribers, between people who run different channels. You know, a good example being, and sometimes that trust is very deserved, and sometimes it comes into question. One good example, I won't name any specific channel, but some of you are probably aware of some drama that had been happening before between two rather well-known YouTube channels that cover the conflict in Ukraine, and really just general content about multiple parts of the world, but most especially Ukraine. And I won't go into any detail about which channels, but any of you who have known me for a while probably know which ones I'm talking about, and which channel I consider to be in the right and which one I consider to be in the wrong. Yeah, trust is a hard thing to build, and it's a very easy thing to break. So I want to do this right. I want to speak with the right people. I want to show them this is serious. This is getting to the people who need it. You know, every donation accounted for, etc. So yeah, that's how we're going to go about doing this. Next time I stream, I'll be sure to let a few of the people I know be aware, and maybe they could do a shout out. And of course, this channel is a lot smaller, but I will always do the same in return. In fact, I'll probably do a shout out pretty soon for Rick, because he did a shout out for my first stream, or my first video at least, the other day. So yeah, it's important to reciprocate. Oh, okay. I see. Well, everyone's got their own opinions. Responding to one of the comments in chat. Alright. This has been good. It's been 2 hours. I'm probably going to keep streams. I might do longer streams, like really long ones of 3 or 4 hours. But for right now, they're probably going to be anywhere between 1.5 to 2 hours. Anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5, probably averaging 2 hours whenever I stream. And yeah, we'll be covering a lot of different content. I'm probably going to do a poll on a few different things. In particular, I'm wanting to go over a few things that are indirectly related to Ukraine, but still have an important impact. And of course, they're related to Russia and some of the horrible practices they have, interfering with other countries in the area and their internal affairs. So, yeah, keep a lookout for that. The first one will probably be on Georgia and the two occupied regions here, specifically because there have been announcements of new naval bases in occupied Abkhazia, and so I guess we'll see how that plays out, but we could end up seeing from this occupied area Russian naval ships being sent out as backup, as basically a safe haven, so to speak, to send over in the Crimea direction in case Ukraine does make it all the way to Crimea, or if they just need ships to come from someplace other than Russia, from this little sea right here. So, yeah, look forward to that. This has been a great stream. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I'll see you next time. Remember, trust in the AFU. Make sure that you're paying close attention to everything happening in Ukraine. We're all united against tyranny, and Slava Ukraini. Alright, I'll catch you later.